Anna stood in the rain, shivering and looking miserable. Inside the room, Jason watched her through the window, a flicker of pity crossing his eyes. In the end, he opened the door and let Anna in. As soon as she entered, Anna took off her coat and tried to seduce Jason. She leaned in and kissed him, desperate to convince him to save her brother Will. With tears streaming down her face, Anna offered her pure and unblemished body to her brother's best friend. However, when Jason realized that Anna's advances were not genuine, he responded with cold indifference and disdain, because this was not the kind of love he desired. Seeing the look of disgust in Jason's eyes, Anna felt a wave of shame and humiliation. The next moment, she turned and fled the room. 10 years ago, on a snowy day, Anna was cruelly thrown out of the house by her adoptive mother simply because the woman had found her biological daughter. Just as Anna was on the brink of death, she was rescued by Will, a young heir from a wealthy family who happened to pass by. From that moment on, Anna became the apple of Will's eye, and no one was allowed to harm her in the slightest. However, as Anna grew up, she ended up dating Alex, a fickle and unfaithful man. When Will found out that Alex had mistreated Anna, he wasted no time and gave Alex a beating. But this act of protection caused Will to provoke someone he should never have crossed. The next day, Will was maliciously accused of embezzling public funds and was soon taken away by the police. Anna began collecting evidence to prove Will's innocence. Once again, she thought of turning to Jason for help. However, just as she stood up to take action, she ran into Alex. Wearing a smug expression, Alex arrogantly threatened Anna, saying that if she agreed to marry him, he would let Will go. To his surprise, Anna slapped him hard across the face. Infuriated and humiliated, Alex tried to assault Anna. Just as the situation became dire, Jason appeared out of nowhere and kicked Alex to the ground. Jason pulled Anna into his arms, and seeing her tear-streaked face, he couldn't help but kiss her. Afterward, Jason promised to help rescue Will, but on the condition that Anna would agree to be his girlfriend. Left with no choice, Anna reluctantly agreed but made Jason promise not to tell Will about their arrangement. Jason, frustrated by her condition, stormed off in anger. When Anna returned home, she was shocked to find Alex had brazenly come to propose, and even her adoptive grandparents and cousin Bess were present. To Anna's disbelief, Will's mother had already agreed to marry her off to Alex. Facing such unreasonable demands, Anna firmly refused without hesitation. To her dismay, Will's mother slapped her across the face, angrily accusing her of being ungrateful and ignoring the family's kindness for raising her for over a decade. Adding insult to injury, Bess pushed Anna, causing her head to hit the table, while cursing her to die. Alex joined in, hurling insults and humiliation at Anna, even going as far as trying to force her to marry him. Anna, in tears, begged the others for help, but everyone turned a blind eye. Emboldened, Alex began to beat Anna in front of everyone and attempted to forcefully kiss her. At that moment, a jade pendant suddenly fell from above, striking Alex on the head. Jason arrived just in time to save Anna. He pulled her into his arms and gently comforted her trembling figure, still shaken from fear. Alex, enraged, confronted Jason and tried to provoke him, but Jason calmly announced that Will had already been released. Alex, humiliated, had no choice but to leave. However, Jason's bodyguards burst into the room and gave Alex a well-deserved beating before escorting him out. Will's mother was deeply grateful to Jason and also apologized to Anna afterward. Jason followed Anna upstairs and cornered her against the wall. When Anna tried to resist, Jason reminded her that she was now his. As the two shared a passionate kiss, Anna suddenly heard a noise outside the door. It was Will's older brother who had returned. Anna, full of excitement, rushed to hug her brother, her face beaming with joy. Will also expressed his gratitude to Jason, thanking him for saving his life. However, as soon as Will left the room, Jason once again pulled Anna into his arms, his eyes filled with jealousy. He had seen the care and affection in Anna's gaze toward Will, and it made his possessiveness flare up. While the two were entangled, the jade pendant that Anna was wearing accidentally slipped off. Just as she bent down to pick it up, her brother called her from outside, forcing her to turn and leave in a hurry. As Jason was about to leave the house, Anna came out to see him off, only to be pulled into his arms again. Jason gave her a sweet goodnight kiss before departing. Back at home, Will hugged Anna and was about to confess his feelings when his mother walked in. She sternly reminded Will that for the sake of the family, he must not allow himself to develop romantic feelings for Anna. Today was the banquet celebrating Will's safe return. Anna attended the event wearing an elegant white dress that immediately caught Jason's attention. Will's older brother gently brushed Anna's hair away from her forehead, his gesture filled with affection. At that moment, Alex appeared and half-jokingly reminded Will to keep a close eye on Anna, lest someone else snatch her away. As he spoke, Alex cast a meaningful glance in Jason's direction. Jason wasted no time and walked over to Anna, softly inviting her to dance. Anna initially wanted to refuse, but with all eyes on them, she could only shyly nod and agree. From a distance, Will watched everything unfold. Seeing the girl he secretly loved dancing gracefully with his best friend filled his heart with suspicion and jealousy. Meanwhile, Bess, consumed with envy, stopped Anna and insulted her, calling her nothing more than an illegitimate child. Anna, however, bravely slapped Bess across the face and walked away with pride and dignity. Humiliated and furious, Bess began plotting in secret, determined to bring Anna down. After taking just one sip of wine, Anna suddenly felt dizzy and disoriented. Bess quickly took the opportunity to lead Anna to Alex's bed, intending to frame her and ruin her reputation. However, Anna had already sensed something was wrong. She abruptly opened her eyes, grabbed a nearby brick, and knocked Bess unconscious. Without hesitation, Anna spit out the wine she had held in her mouth and dragged the unconscious Bess onto Alex's bed instead. Yet, despite her precautions, Anna had still unknowingly ingested a small amount of the drugged wine. As she stumbled out of the room, her consciousness began to fade. Luckily, Jason arrived just in time, scooping her up and carrying her back to his room. Under the effects of the drug, Anna tearfully begged Jason to stay with her for the night, even leaning in to kiss him. Overcome by his feelings for the woman he loved, Jason finally gave in, and the two shared a passionate and fiery kiss. Meanwhile, Will noticed that Anna was missing from the banquet hall and hurriedly began searching for her, eventually heading to the lounge. Hearing approaching footsteps, Jason and Anna quickly hid inside a wardrobe. The tension was high, but just as Will was about to open the door, Alex's phone rang, drawing his attention and prompting him to leave. Jason then carried the dazed Anna into the bathroom, gently holding her in his arms. That night marked the moment Jason had been waiting for. Anna was finally and completely his. Will returned to the banquet hall and suddenly overheard Bess's mother gossiping that Anna and Jason had gone into a guest room together and still hadn't come out. Hearing this, Will immediately panicked and rushed to the room to check. When he pushed open the door, the scene before him shocked everyone. Bess and Alex were tangled up on the bed. Furious, Bess's mother stormed in and dragged Alex off the bed. Just then, Anna walked in from outside. Will let out a long sigh of relief, gently patting Anna's head and reassuring her, "As long as you're okay, that's all that matters." At that moment, Jason appeared and seized the opportunity. Using his status, he proposed on the spot to formalize the relationship between Bess and Alex. Anna, with a calm and serious expression, voiced her full support for the arrangement. This move left Bess's mother and Alex's grandfather utterly stunned, their faces pale with shock. Concerned about preserving the reputation of both families, Alex's grandfather reluctantly agreed to the match and announced an immediate engagement between Bess and Alex. The guests quickly dispersed, leaving behind a furious and frustrated Bess. Meanwhile, Will was about to take Anna home. However, as Jason's car passed by, Will couldn't help but notice something unusual about the dynamic between Anna and Jason. Suspicious, Will confronted Anna, pressing her for the truth. But Anna firmly denied any inappropriate relationship with Jason. Elsewhere, Bess and Alex, consumed with rage after falling into Anna and Jason's trap, decided to join forces and plot a plan for revenge. When Anna returned home, she found Jason fresh out of the shower, casually using her adorable towel. Embarrassed, Anna quickly covered her eyes with her hands, but Jason just laughed and pulled her into his arms. In a teasing tone, he brought up the passionate night they had shared before. Then, without hesitation, he pressed Anna onto the bed and kissed her deeply. Flustered, Anna came up with an excuse, saying her period had arrived and promised to meet him next time. Jason chuckled helplessly and finally rested his head on Anna's lap, gradually falling asleep in her embrace. 15 years ago, Jason's family was betrayed, and his mother tragically lost her life while protecting him. Jason, wounded and lying helpless on the ground, had nearly given up hope when a little girl appeared, shining like a light in his darkest moment. That little girl was Anna. Not long after, on a stormy, snowy night, Jason happened to pass by and found Anna barely clinging to life. Without hesitation, he saved her and brought her to safety. However, because his vendetta was still unresolved, he feared Anna might be dragged into danger. To protect her, he entrusted her to his close friend, Will, for care. Jason vowed that one day, when the time was right, he would bring Anna back to his side, where they would stay together forever, never to be separated again. One day, Anna went to a restaurant with her colleagues and unexpectedly saw Jason dining with another woman. Her heart broke, and she excused herself to the restroom to calm down. To her dismay, Ashley followed her in, mocking her with a disdainful smirk, saying she didn't know her place. Ashley even went as far as to flaunt a gift Jason had supposedly given her. That night, Anna lay in bed alone, overwhelmed with sadness and doubt. Suddenly, Jason pushed open the door, walked slowly to her side, and leaned down to kiss her. The two became lost in their fiery emotions, sharing a passionate night together. Despite this, Anna's heart remained filled with questions. Sensing her unease, Jason held her tightly and whispered softly, "You're the only one in my heart." Meanwhile, Ashley went to Will and told him that Anna and Jason were in a relationship. Although Will didn't fully believe her, he decided to verify it for himself. The next morning, Will called Anna, claiming he wanted to bring her breakfast. Anna quickly made up an excuse, saying she was already at the office, and suggested meeting him there instead. However, just as Anna drove away, Will was there and witnessed everything with his own eyes. Today was Jason's birthday. Will drank alone, trying to drown his sorrows as his suspicions about Anna and Jason's relationship grew stronger. Meanwhile, Anna was relaxing in a hot spring when Jason quietly approached her with a teasing smile. He kissed her, pressing her to admit that she had fallen in love with him. The more Anna denied it, the closer Jason leaned in, refusing to back down. Later, when the two returned to their room, Will suddenly arrived to see Anna. Jason deliberately stayed behind the door and interacted intimately with Anna, even planting a kiss near her ear. Anna blushed deeply and quickly came up with an excuse to deal with Will. Once Will left, Jason pulled Anna into his arms and kissed her passionately, insisting that she make their relationship public. Just as they were about to leave the room, they found Will standing right outside. Jason admitted to his relationship with Anna, which sent Will into a rage as he demanded Jason stay away from her. Jason countered by asking if Will's anger was because Anna had kept the relationship a secret, or because he had always secretly loved Anna himself. Jason's words struck a nerve, and Will, enraged and humiliated, swung his fist at Jason. At that moment, Anna stepped forward and confessed her feelings for Jason. Jason, triumphant, pulled Anna into his arms and kissed her deeply in front of everyone, officially declaring their relationship. The two then left together, leaving Will behind, silently vowing to win Anna back at any cost. Back in their room, Jason could no longer hold back his emotions. He kissed Anna deeply, and in that moment, their hearts became one, as if the world had melted away, leaving only the two of them. It was Bess and Alex's wedding day. Jason held Anna's hand tightly, standing before everyone with pride and determination. Will was also in attendance and seized the opportunity to speak with Anna alone, inviting her to a private room. In the room, Will finally confessed his feelings to Anna, pleading with her to give him a chance to care for her for the rest of her life. However, Anna firmly rejected him, stating with conviction that her heart belonged only to Jason. Faced with her refusal, Will lost control and pulled her into his arms, trying to force her to stay with him. At that moment, Ashley approached Jason and informed him that Anna was alone with Will. Enraged, Jason stormed over and pushed the door open, only to see Will holding Anna tightly. Consumed by anger, Jason punched Will, knocking him to the ground. Grabbing Anna's hand, he tried to take her away, but Anna shook him off and turned back to help Will. Jason watched this scene, his heart breaking at the thought that the woman he loved might have betrayed him. Anna helped the injured Will back to his room and, after ensuring he was fine, calmly reiterated that her heart only belonged to Jason. After saying this, Anna left resolutely to find Jason. However, upon returning to her room, she was drugged and fell unconscious. Meanwhile, Will, concerned for Anna's safety, went to Jason to question her whereabouts. It quickly became clear to both of them that Anna had gone missing, and they decided to search for her separately. Late at night, Anna lay weak and helpless on the ground, despairing that no one would come to save her. Just then, Jason finally arrived and pulled her tightly into his arms. At that moment, Anna noticed a jade pendant hanging around Jason's neck, the very same one that had been her keepsake as a child. She immediately realized that the person who had saved her during the snowstorm years ago was none other than Jason. Overcome with emotion, Anna gave Jason a deep and heartfelt kiss. However, their moment was interrupted when Jason heard noises nearby. He quickly told Anna to hide. It turned out that Bess had arranged for thugs to kill both Jason and Anna. Jason fought off the attackers but was soon overpowered when one of them grabbed him by the neck. In the critical moment, Anna bravely stepped forward and saved Jason. While catching his breath, Jason suddenly noticed a tattoo on one of the attackers. It was identical to the one that had belonged to the person responsible for his mother's death years ago. Jason's mind raced as he began piecing together the truth about the mastermind behind everything. The next day, the police delivered the grim news that there was no trace of Jason or Anna, and the two were feared to have met a terrible fate. Will's mother, devastated by the news, urged Will to thoroughly investigate and uncover the truth. Meanwhile, Ashley, furious upon hearing that Jason might have met with disaster, confronted Alex, demanding an explanation. Alex, enraged by her accusations, lashed out and even attempted to assault her. Just as the situation became critical, Jason and Anna appeared. Jason held crucial evidence in his hands, exposing Alex's family for their illegal activities and the conspiracy that led to his mother's death years ago. He forced Alex to admit his crimes on the spot. However, Alex, driven by humiliation and fury, pulled out a gun and aimed it at Jason and Anna. "If you hand Anna over to me," he threatened, "I'll let you live." To protect Jason, Anna stepped forward without hesitation, ready to sacrifice herself. At that moment, Will arrived with his men just in time to save Jason and Anna, completely foiling Alex's plan. But the danger was far from over. Bess, unwilling to accept defeat, grabbed a knife and, with eyes full of hatred, charged at Anna, determined to end her life. As the blade was about to strike, Jason instinctively threw himself in front of Anna without a second thought. In that split second, Ashley stepped forward and shielded Jason, taking the blow meant for him. As she lay dying, Ashley used her final breaths to apologize to Jason and Anna for everything she had done. The three of them visited Ashley's grave together, their hearts heavy with emotions as they reflected on the storms they had weathered. At the gravesite, Will finally confessed to Anna that the person who had saved her in the snowstorm all those years ago was none other than Jason. With heartfelt sincerity, he told her that, despite everything, he still hoped to remain her brother and continue protecting her. Back home, Jason mysteriously asked Anna to close her eyes, saying he had a surprise for her. Moments later, when Anna opened her eyes, she was stunned to see Jason dressed as Santa Claus, holding a ring as he knelt on one knee to propose to her. Overwhelmed with emotion, Anna teared up and said yes to his proposal. After enduring countless hardships together, they finally embraced the happiness that was meant to be theirs. Hand in hand, they embarked on a new chapter of their lives, ready to face the future together.